Welcome to the AFS panel, Inspiring Young Global Citizens to Tackle the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. This inspirational discussion, organized by AFS Intercultural Programs, will be held as the lead up to the Sir Cyril Taylor Young Leaders Awards, which mark the celebration and the end of the first year of the Effect Plus for the Classroom program. My name is Andrés Peñalosa Lanza, and I am the Educator Relations Project Coordinator at AFS Intercultural Programs. More specifically, I coordinate the Effect Plus for the Classroom program, precisely. And throughout the end of 2020 and 2021, I had the chance to connect with educators from different corners of the world. And we are now connecting with you, the students, and the school staff. And we are so glad to be here with you finally. But not only that, we also have here in this very webinar, AFS volunteers, AFS staff members, and we have fellow educators, the school community, facilitators who are interested in attending the panel discussion and finding out who the winners are. So before we start, I would like to ask you to share in the chat, where are you connecting from? So we have an idea of who are we talking to. I can see already, as I said, Switzerland, Paraguay, Colombia, and many other places, but feel free to share some more about you, okay? Very glad to see we have many familiar faces, but others, some not so familiar here. So thank you for joining. Let me show you what we're going to discuss or talk about today, okay? First of all, we are going to introduce what the AFS Effect Plus for the Classroom program is and what brought us here. Why are we talking about this and why are we having this event today? Secondly, we will welcome the representatives of the two organizations that made this program possible and this awards possible, who will talk about why we need young global citizens to tackle the Sustainable Development Goals. We will then get to the main discussion. I will invite Sha and Luisa to a moderated panel on how young leaders can tackle the Sustainable Development Goals. Questions and answers from the audience are more than welcome. And finally, we will recognize a new generation of young leaders, their teachers and schools with the 2021 Sir Cyril Taylor Young Leaders Awards. So let's get started. Let me explain to you why are we here, what brought us here. This virtual event is the closing activity of the Effect Plus for the Classroom program, a virtual capacity building program for secondary level educators to further develop their global skills and train them to implement the Effect Plus for the Classroom Educator Toolkit, which is focused on engaging students in global citizenship and the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This program was developed by AFS, which is an international voluntary nonprofit education organization that's been providing intercultural learning opportunities worldwide for over 100 years. And this is being made in partnership with the Sir Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation, which is an organization that supports charities for intercultural education and international education, such as AFS. So why is this program focusing on teachers? And as you can see on the screen, according to the 2018 PISA report, the Program for International Students Assessment report, teachers play a key role in fostering and integrating global competence education into classroom practices and impact students' global mindedness. As you can read there, teachers' attitudes and activities in and outside classrooms impact students' global mindedness. So we as AFS believe that equipping educators with the necessary global competencies to bring cultural understanding to their classroom is critical to build a more peaceful, sustainable, and just world. So let me tell you who was part of this program from the very beginning. So from more than 350 registrations we received, we selected 152 educators from 71 schools from Colombia, Brazil, and New Zealand. And they come from the most diverse backgrounds. We were really happy to see educators who teach subjects like math, social sciences, environmental sciences, engineering, computer sciences, history, entrepreneurship, English as a second language. We also had music, arts, sports, and many others. And I think that these educators were able to connect their super diverse subjects to the Sustainable Development Goals. And that shows that all 17 goals are interconnected. It is possible to talk about sustainable development and arts, sports, science, history. They embraced this program from the very beginning, inspiring us, but most of all, inspiring the more than 2,500 students that were part of their classes. This program had 3 parts. This year-long program had 3 parts that started in November 2020, which is when we selected educators who took part of a comprehensive virtual capacity building program. The internationally recognized AFS GCC, or Global Competence Certificate, was adapted for its implementation with educators. And the virtual course included topics such as intercultural sensitivity and communication, conflict styles, empathy and active listening, power dynamics, inequalities, microaggressions, among many others. And we use asynchronous video models and synchronous live sessions, which were also a great opportunity for the educators to connect from peers from other parts of the world and have the opportunity to exchange good practices and really valuable knowledge. The second part of the program included the Educator Toolkit. The Educator Toolkit is a comprehensive resource for educators to implement their newly acquired skills, plus our tailored design activities on active global citizenship and the SDGs. And it was designed to be developed in the classroom using an experiential learning methodology, which is AFS's specialty. And the toolkit features 6 lesson plans and 18 activities that can be adapted to the needs of each educator in terms of time, in content, and given the current circumstances, giving options of in-person and virtual settings. And finally, the third part, which is why we are here today. The Sir Taylor Young Leaders Awards will recognize the project developed by students with their teachers' guidance. As the toolkit suggests, the students should apply their new knowledge, skills, and attitudes by developing a project idea to tackle one of the SDGs or many others in their local communities, identifying the main challenges and proposing a concrete solution to it. You can see in the images, for example, the videos that we received from so many students from all 3 countries, and all of them addressing at least one of these SDGs. So to wrap up this introduction about the Effect Plus for the Classroom program, I would like to tell you how you can get involved. So as a school or educational institution, you can partner with your local AFS organization to offer global competence teacher training. We have more than 50 offices around the world and thousands of volunteers to help you make this happen. And remember that this is for free. If you are an educator, just as the 150 that took part of this first edition, use the toolkit. You can start in August later this year when we will launch the toolkit officially. And the link is going to be shared on the chat now if you want to show your interest and you don't miss out when we launch the toolkit in August. Yes, Carol shared the link on the chat. Thank you so much. And finally, as a student, you can engage in the Effect Plus workshops and activities offered in your school. So this is the classroom version of the program, but this is not the only one. There is a first and the original Effect Plus program, which is also offered by your local AFS organizations in the form of shorter versions, 1 or 2 day workshops for students to get a taste of what active global citizenship is, what social impact is. And of course, we hope that you can evolve that and make it happen make the Effect Plus for the classroom happen in your school. So this was the introduction about the Effect Plus for the classroom program and why we are here. So let's hear from other people besides me, which is why I would like to invite Daniel Obst on behalf of AFS Intercultural Programs. He is the president and CEO of our organization, and he will share a few words about what this program means to us and why young global citizens are important to tackle the Sustainable Development Goals. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you so much, Andres. It's so great to be here. Good evening from Brooklyn. Thank you all for joining today's discussion and ceremony. I have to say, all of us at AFS are so proud that we're completing the first year of this Effect Plus in the Classroom initiative. And I want to start by just saying a huge thank you to all the 150 teachers and over 2,500 students in Brazil, Colombia, and New Zealand who participated in this program. It's really quite incredible to see your commitment to global citizenship and intercultural learning. I also want to congratulate all the amazing social impact projects that were developed by the students in the participating classrooms, and especially to the top 3 outstanding projects, and we'll hear more about those a little bit later this evening. But I'm so glad also that we're joined today by Louisa and Shah, both of whom received the AFS Global Citizen Prize in the last couple of years, and they are just amazing and inspiring individuals. And I think if you hear from them, you will be as inspired as I was when I first had a chance to meet them. As Andres said, AFS has been around for more than 100 years, and we have a very clear vision. We envision a world in which people from all backgrounds embrace differences and who believe that we are actually stronger because of our differences. We believe in a world where everybody is working to promote global understanding, and we believe in a world where everyone takes responsibility for our collective well-being and for sustainable development. And so we believe that one of the most important things to make this possible and to make this vision come true is to support schools and educators so that they have the tools, the programs, the skills in order to help support the students in their classrooms. And I believe this because educating more young people to become global citizens is absolutely crucial, and it matters for a sustainable future. So introducing high school students to intercultural skills and to global issues does not only improve their communication and collaboration skills, which of course is one key reason to do it, but it also helps them better understand how they can make a difference in the world, how they can have impact in their own local communities. And so that's exactly the reason why we created the Effect Plus in the Classroom project. But all of this requires working together and partnering with different stakeholders in the community. And so I'm so incredibly grateful for our partnership with the Sir Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation, which has provided the generous funding that makes this possible, that allowed us to support the teachers and the students and to create the toolkit. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to Bill Gertz, who is not only a trustee of the Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation, but he's also the chairman and CEO of AIFS, which is another long-standing international education organization. Bill is also a good friend of mine for many years and one of the best supporters of international education that I know. So I'm really glad that Bill is with us. And Bill, thank you so much for your support. And so over to you, Bill, to say a few words of welcome.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I'm so pleased to be here today, pleased with my friendship with Daniel, as he mentioned, over the years, and also the ability now to connect with young people from all over the world. It's amazing that we can get together and do this. I'm so pleased to be enabled to participate in this wonderful endeavor, which AFS has developed. I just do want to say a few words about Sir Cyril Taylor, who was my boss at AIFS for 33 years, and also to his wonderful charitable foundation, which he started about 10 years ago. Cyril Taylor was an amazing man, my mentor, founded AIFS in 1964, But before that, he was the son of missionaries who came to the United States to learn and to study at Harvard Business School. He founded, as I mentioned, AIFS in 1964 and Richmond University in London in 1972. He was knighted by the Queen twice for his services to international education, and also was, as I mentioned, founder of Richmond and the advisor to 8 secretaries of state in the UK. The foundation invests in worthy projects very much like this, provides scholarships to children, young people from all over the world for their educational opportunities, and is very involved in diversity and equity and inclusion efforts. And it's a young foundation, but we expect it to continue for many, many years, helping people who have the same dream that Cyril Taylor had many years ago, a dream of bringing the world together, a dream of peace, and a dream of fairness towards everyone. So with that short introduction, I'd like to congratulate the winners, congratulate all the participants, and thank you very much for inviting me to this wonderful event.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you to the Sir Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation, whose founder's name inspired the name of the Young Leaders Awards that we are presenting today. So thank you both again. And that said, let's jump into the next part and invite our guests. I will ask both of them to turn on their cameras, please, so the audience can see you now. Yes, there you are. Hi, Shah. Hi, Luisa. I'm going to start with Shah, just a little introduction before we jump into the debate, okay? So Shah Chaudhuri is an internationally recognized environmentalist and social entrepreneur based in Dhaka in Bangladesh, where he's currently running a social enterprise called Footsteps Bangladesh, which addresses social challenges in the fields of environment, health, and education, with a vision of transforming community mentality from aid dependency to self-reliance. His work is impacting over 150,000 people across 17 districts in Bangladesh. Shah was nominated by the European Commission as one of the 16 inspirational young leaders from around the globe in 2018, and also represented Bangladesh as a youth ambassador at the United Nations 2012, especially Rio Plus 20 and the Bangkok climate talks. And he also, as Daniel was mentioning, he won the AFS Prize for Young Global Citizens last year in 2020. So hi, Shah, how are you doing? Where are you connected from?
Thank you so much, Andre, for the introduction. Good morning, everybody from here in Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's great to be among all of you guys, talking to all of you guys over here. No matter where we are in the world, this just shows how interconnected everybody is, and this is the best example for it. So thank you again for inviting me over here.
Thank you. It's great having you here, and it's also great having the winner of the award of the previous year. Luisa Romero Munoz is a young activist and social entrepreneur from Colombia. She holds a bachelor's degree in electronics and telecommunications engineering from the University of Cauca, and a master's degree in international tourism management from Ulster University in the UK. And her volunteering experience at home and abroad led her to lead local initiatives which contribute to peace building in her country by empowering young people. She's the co-founder of Get Up and Go Colombia, an NGO that seeks to transform territories which were dominated by the armed conflict into cultural and gastronomic destinations for national and international tourists, contributing to peace building through sustainable tourism as an engine that allows socioeconomic development, changing the image and stigma of these areas and encouraging tourists to visit them. Luisa won many awards as well, including the 2019 AFS Prize for Young Global Citizens. I'm very inspired by reading both biographies. Luisa, welcome. How are you doing and where are you connected from?
Hi, Andres. Hi, everyone. No, it's my pleasure to join today, like the event. I'm connecting from Colombia, like from Popayán, my hometown, and I'm very excited for this event. So thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks to you. As you can see, we have many students and educators from Colombia precisely, and I'm sure that they are happy to see you here as an inspirational figure. And the same about you, Shah. I'm going to start asking something to you, Shah, but giving first a context about the SDGs and what brought us here together, and what usually brings together what we call young global citizens, right? I think that we are in a constant fight for a better world, a better future, right? Whether it is for social justice, for peace, for a sustainable world, or for better conditions for the future generations, right? And we all want to bring the best of ourselves and give it back to the people and the planet. And I believe many, if not all of these causes that I'm mentioning and that I read while I was introducing you are connected to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So, Shah, how would you describe a global citizen? What do you think that is?
All right. Thank you again, Andre. So when it comes to global citizenship, I think I mentioned it a bit before that the world right now is more interconnected than ever because of the global pandemic, because of the internet connectivity that we have. And because of this, having an impact through the work you do around the globe has become a very important factor, because now my problem or your problem is like everyone else's problem together that we have to solve together. So there are many different variations of what a young global citizen can be. But to me personally, a global citizen is somebody whose actions and advocacy has a resonating effect throughout not only throughout the globe, not because his or her work is being done locally, but they're actually playing a significant role in addressing that certain problem or that like array of problems together in a holistic manner. So that is who a young citizen or a global citizen is to me, playing an active role in solving the problems that we have globally, specifically in the case of the 17 SDGs that we have right now.
You mentioned some keywords for me, having a holistic perspective, right? And tackling local problems, but thinking globally, and having this holistic perspective of the 17 SDGs, right? I really like your definition of global citizen. Luisa, does that resonate with you? Do you agree with that definition of a global citizen?
Yes, Andres, I think that I agree totally with Shah. I think also that a global citizen is a person who is always looking to tackle local challenges with a global perspective. I would also say that the main qualities of a global citizen are very related to intercultural understanding. It's also related as a person, you're open to listen, to act, and to create new realities. So for me, like a global citizen is a person who connects the world for a purpose, as Shah mentioned, and is always constantly looking for new opportunities and new ways to make an impact in whatever that person is located.
And how would you say that resonates with specifically the work you do in Colombia? How do you apply that? How do you put your global citizenship into action in your local community?
Yeah, like from my experience, I would say that everything that we do is connected to it. We work in the sector of sustainable tourism, which is a way to connect people as human beings, so beyond nationalities and identities. With tourism, what we do is to empower local communities who were affected by the armed conflict, and then we connect those communities with travelers from all over the world. So we have local and national travelers, but before the pandemic, we used to have a lot of international travelers. So for us, was a way to connect people, to show that that the problems that we have here are some quite related to the problems that a person can have in the other side of the world. And also it's a way to develop like more empathy and compassion based on these tourism activities. So from my experience, like that's how we work for it, like that's how we try to empower more young people to believe how important it is to be a global citizen, and also how we can transmit like to other people or to these visitors that we are a global family, that we are all together in this, and that the impact that they're doing here can make us a better world.
That totally resonates with what Sha was saying about the interconnectivity, right? How everything is connected. And if you're working in your local community, that can have an impact and a community in the other side of the world. And I really like that you mentioned empathy and compassion, because I'm going to ask shortly about that, because those are one of the competencies that we try to teach at AFS. But you work with sustainable tourism, and I think it's amazingly linked to the SDGs. So Sha, what is it that you work with, and how what you work with is connected to the SDGs?
First of all, I'd like to thank Luisa for bringing up some very key points and the things that she mentioned, especially the fact that, you know, working locally with the global perspective. That is something that we here at Footsteps are doing. We work on an array of issues. We design social ventures based on challenges related to water and sanitation, disaster risk respondents, cold chain management for vaccines, as well as like, you know, waste management and environmental advocacy. So when it comes to our work, we're doing the work locally, yes, but what we do is we try to mobilize people from around the globe to be a part of the work that we're doing over here, be it financially or non-financially. And I think one of the most important points that Luisa mentioned as well is the empathy part, because the work that we're doing over here, it wouldn't be impactful without having empathy and compassion. And that's what we try to portray here at Footsteps, that if we have volunteers, change makers coming in, if we have funders, partners coming in, we want to show them the work that we're doing, the problems that we are trying to solve through their own eyes. If they're able to see the problem, they will be able to relate, and then they will want to, like, you know, take part and mobilize initiatives that will try to solve the problem. So a big part where like our work plays a lot on is how we, like, you know, portray our work on mass media as well, because it's very important for to raise the awareness, as well as the awareness on the work that we're doing around the globe, not only in Bangladesh, but all across the world, because there are people out there who are looking for certain ideas like these, which would inspire them or give them ideas on how to do their own work in their own local communities, which has been happening for Footsteps as well. There are people, there are young change makers, not only reaching out from different districts in Bangladesh who want to be a part of our work, but there are people from India, there are people from other South Asian countries, even European and American countries coming forward, trying to do their own initiatives, asking us like how we can like collaborate together, or how we can, like, you know, advise them on, like, you know, carrying out their initiatives over there. So I think that's the most important part, where, like, you know, you try to tackle whatever problem you're working on together. So yeah, that's the work that Footsteps is doing, that even though we're trying to solve the problems locally, we're thinking from a global perspective, but most importantly, we're trying to solve the problems that we're working on together.
I really like that you bring up two concepts that I really like, and I think that they're really powerful: empowerment and ownership, right? Taking ownership of what's happening in your country and realizing what your role as a citizen and then as a global citizen is to tackle the issues, to tackle the SDGs. And you mentioned raising awareness, right? And when I think about the students who submitted their projects, many of them, or most of them, were about raising awareness, because we are in that period of time when we, first of all, need to raise awareness of what the issue is, right? When you talk about the SDGs, and when you see people talking about it in all over the world, we are still explaining what the SDGs are, even though the SDGs started 6 years ago, right? So by now, we should actually be implementing the SDGs, and people should already know what the SDGs are. And I'm really glad that the students already know what these are and how they connected that to their projects. So going back to what you both mentioned about empathy and compassion, during this program with the educators and the educators with the students later, we talked about how topics like empathy and active listening are, compassion, how it's important to understand our privileges or lack of privileges, and how to understand how inequalities work, right? But I think that many of us, including myself, never had the chance to learn this at school. I never saw this. No one told me that I could learn what empathy is, what active listening is, right? I never had the chance. And so the question is how important it is for you to apply this kind of knowledge and skills in your personal and professional lives. Luisa, would you like to start?
Yes, Andres. No, thank you so much for mentioning that. I think it's so important. And now that you mentioned that, like remember like my days during school, like yeah, I would love, or I would have loved to learn these topics while I was still a young student. And now I think it's so important because first, like the active listening is such an important skill. Like sometimes as human beings, we listen to answer or to reply, but we don't listen to understand. So I think that is the main point about the active listening. And the second thing that you mentioned about empathy is so important as well, like to feel the other person problem as if it was like my problem. I think that's something that unfortunately like not all human beings like know how to feel that. And that's why like I think that that's why we have so many problems like in the world. But I think that as long as we practice this skill, as long as we try to put these two skills in everything that we do, everything will become easier. In my personal experience, like by having like active listening has been a good opportunity to get to know deeper the communities that we work with, because sometimes these communities are full of stigma and discrimination, and I think it's because people don't take the time to listen and to have that active listening about what are their problems and how we can contribute with solutions that really matter for them. So I think that is super important, and I will suggest and recommend all the students and the teachers that are here in this event to train these two skills because it's very, very important.
I totally agree. Yes, Sha, the same to you. How important are these skills for you?
Oh, definitely. These are extremely important. Like in my personal belief, I see schools as institutions which are supposed to be building problem solvers globally, right? But what happens is that most schools, especially in the developing world right now, are still following a traditional methodology of like, teaching to students, which I feel is a bit backdated. Yes, subjects like biology, chemistry, they do matter, but at the same time, subjects related to emotional intelligence matters more, especially at the time that we're living in right now. Because if you actually want to go out in the world and solve a problem, you need to be very passionate about it. And the best way to develop that passion is when you're young, when you're learning about it. If your school doesn't provide you with that opportunity, then that is an opportunity that is missed. Personally, for me, when I was in school, I learned about during that time, the SDGs did not exist. It was the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals. That was something I learned by myself when I was in school, and I was also looked down upon because they were like, why aren't you studying for your O-level or A-level examination? Why are you studying something like this? It was because I was passionate about the environment and I wanted to see like, how the MDGs were related to environmental advocacy. And I believe that this sort of knowledge, emotional intelligence, as well as like subjects that focus on the SDGs is very important and crucial in our schools right now. Because trust me, learning about the SDGs and the MDGs has made my life and my work at Footsteps much easier. The SDGs are basically a roadmap for me. And if these are incorporated within the subjects that are being taught in schools, I believe that we're going to be able to create more problem solvers around in the world rather than people who are just looking for a good salary and a normal life to lead. And I think that is what is mostly needed in the world right now. Problem solvers who will come together and help solve the challenges that we have all across the globe.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that because when we have a look at what you both studied, we see electronics, telecommunications, sustainable tourism, social entrepreneurship, but you are still talking about social issues, right? Empathy, it's emotional intelligence. And I'm so glad that you connected both because the same happened with the teachers. We have teachers who are part of the STEM universe, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. But we also have musicians and artists and sports instructors. So I totally agree with you. So before we jump to the questions and answers, everyone, if you have questions for the speakers, now is the time. I would like to ask both of you to share in one sentence, what message do you have to these young global citizens in the making that are listening to you right now? You can start, Shah.
So if it has to be like one sentence on like, you know, what an advice could be, in the most simplest words, never doubt yourself and never give up on the passions and dreams you have. Because there will be moments when like you will feel like, you know, whether you failed or not, but this is just part of the adventure of a change maker, of a global citizen. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So that's just part of this 1,000-mile step that you're taking. So never give up, never lose focus, and always believe in yourself.
Yes, for me, it will be like two sentences. The first one will be like you becoming what you decide to believe. And I think that's so important because when you're young, you see like the world like so big, and sometimes you have a lot of doubts and a lot of things. And I think it's important to know what do you want to create, what do you want to become in. So that is a good sentence, like you become in what you decide to believe. And the second one is inspired by example. So I think that is so important because in this road of leadership, like everybody's looking at you about what you do. And as long as you achieve something, there will be a lot of eyes on you. So the best way to inspire other people to take action is by your own example. So those are my two sentences.
Love it. Thank you so much. I like the words that you use, dreaming and believing in yourself and being an example, and being who you dream to be, right? So thank you so much. But this conversation is not over because we now have some questions from the audience. And I see that we have two other people with their camera on here, Daniel and Bill. And Daniel asked the question here in the chat that he shared with me. Shah and Luisa, you both have so much passion and drive. I'm curious to know what or who motivates you. Who would like to answer that question?
I'll go forward with this because like there's a certain experience, like in the work that we do, there are like, you know, stages like, you know, where you feel like you've hit a barrier or like, you know, there's a huge challenge coming up or whether you failed or not. Whenever these moments arise, I try to think of like, you know, certain experiences that I've had on field regarding the impact that we're doing. So I'll share one experience with you guys right now. We conduct this one water project called Project Trishna, and Trishna means thirst in Bengali. And we're on a mission to quench the thirst of the masses. And there was this one incident, we were setting up a water system in a school in northern part of Dhaka. And the river that the school was situated beside was extremely polluted, for which the groundwater sources were being polluted, for which the water that they were drinking had a very bad odor. So the children would like, you know, skip from drinking from water from that school, and they would rather bring water from like their houses, which were like miles away. When we set up that water system over there, a kid came up running to me and said, Bhaiya, our water does not stink anymore. And I think these are the stories, these are the experiences that truly motivates you in the work that you're doing, that puts meaning to the work that you're doing. And to me, awards and recognitions are great, but these are the true achievements for me, the moments why we are working on Field 4. And this is just one of the many examples that are happening across Bangladesh right now with our work. These are the experiences that matters to us. And these are the memories that motivates to go even further.
Very inspiring words, Shah. Thank you. It's about remembering why you are doing it and who are you doing it for, right? It's not about personal recognition or anything. It's doing it for the others. So thank you. Luisa, I'm curious to know the same, what or who motivates you?
Yes, I think that I also agree with Shah. I think it's like the impact that you do with the communities. And I have a personal experience. For example, we were developing a project called Peace Guides, and it was with women who were affected by the conflict. They were victim of displacement. And I remember that we were working with them for over a year. And one day, one of these a woman come to me and say like, "Oh, Luisa, thank you so much because you transformed our lives." And I was like thinking for 1 second about that, and I was like, no, 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 it's the opposite. I mean, you transformed my life. So I think that that is the kind of like memories that makes you like keep moving forward, because it's like a way to, yeah, like to transform your life while you're transforming other people's lives. So I think that that is the main driver that makes me wake up every day and try to do different initiatives or different actions, because it's the way like basically to connecting like hearts, but also like giving a little bit of yourself to the work. And also another experience that also I would like to share is that when I was in the conference, in the IFS conference in 2019 in Canada, I had the opportunity to meet Gabrielle. Like she was also an AFS volunteer. And then after we met there, we keep in touch during the last 2 years. And then she was like helping us as a remote volunteer. And she was very passionate about everything that we were doing. And now Gabrielle is here with us. So she decided to come over France, like travel to here and stay with us like a year. So that's the kind of experience that I really like to see, how by the work you're doing, you just inspire other people and just like make them or convince them to work with you or to keep like inspiring people. So yeah, that's the thing that motivates me.
Yeah, someone else buying your dreams, right? Believing in what you created and saying, hey, I like Luisa's dream. I want to get on board with her project because I believe it's worth it. That's very inspiring. One last question, maybe a quick one, because we have a question from Victoria on the chat asking you, Luisa, what type of gender issues can you share with us while developing your initiatives?
Yeah, I think that the project that I just mentioned, like Peace Guide, is one of the best examples that I can talk about gender issues, especially because like in Colombia, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, Luisa. Yes.
I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, no, I was saying that the project like Peace Guides is definitely one of the best examples about like gender issues. We decided to empower like women because in Colombia, yeah, that has been like one of the main like victims of the Colombian armed conflict, and we believe that as a woman you have a lot of potential to develop things. So with this group of women, we have developed like different tours oriented to the art, like street art and murals and everything. And it has been really nice to learn like from Colombia, like from a different perspective, like from their perspective. But also like right now we are working on another initiative that is a coffee place. And in this coffee place, we are like showcasing a coffee that is being that has been like worked by women who also were part of armed groups, and they left the guns behind a lot of years ago, and they decided to put all their effort into coffee. So what we are doing is like basically developing this cafe in order to showcase that in Colombia, like people are building peace through different ways. Like some people do it like through tourism, other from different like parts, but there are people who are like contributing to peace building by growing coffee. So I think that has been one of the main like components in our organization, to always have the opportunity to provide new ways of showing the leadership of women in the region.
Thank you. It's really inspiring to hear so many ideas that you have. So I really recommend reaching out to Luisa to share what your project's ideas are, to get some insights, right? Unfortunately, our time is over. There is one last question that I would like to ask you to maybe answer it on the chat, because I think it's very important, so you can keep engaging with the participants. I'm sharing it right now. It comes from someone watching it on YouTube. Any advice for what my next steps should be to continue developing as a global citizen? So I would like you to share on the chat that, but it's time to move on to the awards. So right now I would like to thank you to both of you for being part of this discussion. It's so inspiring. I'm very honored to be in this conversation with both of you, not only as winners of awards and so on, but as young global citizens, because people who are, I consider myself a young global citizen, and seeing you both making so much impact in your local communities and having so much impact on other people from all over the world is moving for me. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much to all of us who shared your questions. So I will move on to the awards, but thank you again, Sha and Luisa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Well, Luisa and Sha haven't left, so please feel free to keep engaging with them on the chat. But now, yeah, I'm sure that listening to young leaders and global citizens themselves inspire others, because they are people that we can look up to, right? So with that said, let's jump to another inspiring moment. Let's announce the winners of the Young Leaders Awards. We had 36 projects submitted from Brazil, Colombia, and New Zealand. And with the key support and guidance of a jury panel of specialists, we picked 3 winners based on the following criteria: relevance, viability, innovation, impact, and alignment with the SDGs. It was a super difficult decision, and I would like to thank all 36 project teams for sharing with us your ideas. I had a lot of fun reviewing the applications and watching the videos, but most importantly, I was amazed by your ability to put together so many great and concrete solutions that would make the world a much, much better place. And so you are true global citizens, and I hope that this is only the beginning for you to keep fighting for a better future. But we have only 3 winners, and let's see who they are. Okay, so I would like you to join me doing a drum roll wherever you are, because the first winner of the night, of this evening, is from Medellin, Colombia, Enlighten Manrique. This project was led by teacher Elkin Villa from Colegio San Jose de Las Vegas, and was developed by the students Luciana Garcia, Andrea Monsalve, Juanita Gaona, and Raquel Restrepo. So I'm very glad, and congratulations to all of you. Please share on the chat if you are there, your comments, share with us what you're feeling. We're going to include an introduction from your teacher briefly. Enlighten Manrique proposes a fundraising and entrepreneurship campaign for the generation of resources to provide affordable energy and access to internet in Manrique. They identify the lack of access to energy and Wi-Fi as a big challenge for the community, which is why they decided to address the SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy. So congratulations to the students and the teacher from Colegio San Jose de Las Vegas. I'm now gonna introduce the second winner of the night. Drum roll again. We have from Salvador, Brazil, A+ Studies, or Estudos a Mais. This project was led by teacher Alger dos Santos in a collaborative effort with fellow teachers, Rosângela de Araújo, Larissa Carneiro, and Adilson Oliveira. They come from the Federal Institute of Bahia, Instituto Federal da Bahia, from the campus of Camaçari. And the students of this project are Ana Carolina Lima, Bruna Souza, Maria Clara Macena, Maria Clarissa Soeiro, Maria Vitória Freitas, Sabrina Guiar, and Vanessa Silva. It is a big team for such an amazing project, and it was worth it. Congratulations. This project proposes the democratization of the educational system for the improvement of the studying conditions of students willing to access high quality universities, not only in Brazil, but in all Portuguese-speaking countries through virtual workshops for students. They decided to address the main SDG number 4, quality education, but also 10 and 17, reducing inequalities and partnerships for the goals. So congratulations to the A+ Studies project team. And finally, one more drum roll, we have the third winner of the night from Colombia as well, Sogamoso, Sign Language Awareness, or Implementación y Concientización sobre la Lengua de Señas en Instituciones Educativas. This project was led by teacher Yvonne Esmeralda Cruz Estupiñán from the Colegio Cooperativo Reyes Patria, and it was developed by the students Juan Pablo Escandón, Juan David Niño, Natalia Pérez, and Verónica Salamanca. Congratulations to you. They bring a much needed topic to the conversation, the promotion of sign language as an optional subject at school in order to tackle discrimination against hearing impaired people as a way to create a more inclusive school and community. And the SDG address is number 10, reduce inequalities. So relevant. Congratulations to the Sign Language Awareness Project team. I'm going to show you now, these are the 3 winners of the 2021 Sir Cyril Taylor Young Leader Awards. Enlighten Manrique, Estudos Amais, A+ Studies, and Sign Language Awareness from Brazil and Colombia. I'm very, very proud of you. And now I would like to invite the teachers to share a few words, a minute to share what this was about or whatever you want to say on behalf of your students. And I would like to start with Professor Elkin from the project Enlighten Manrique. Is Professor Elkin over there? Teacher Elkin, how are you? Can you hear us? I think that you might be with a problem with your microphone. I cannot hear you. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, I think. Nope, not yet. Can you try again? Not yet.
Now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Well, Andres, I want to thank the school, our school, San Jose de Las Vegas, for the support, for the opportunity that gave not only me, but especially the students to be part of this program. I want to thank, of course, the students who were very committed to the project since the very beginning. They are the protagonists, the main characters of this story. And I want to thank the AFS staff as well, Carolina, Erica, and you, Andres, because you were always willing to help us with all the questions and the doubts that we have about the program. And I would like to encourage teachers and students to continue making our classrooms a space to think globally and to be aware that we have in our hands the opportunity to make this world a better place. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's been a pleasure for us to participate in this project.
Thank you, Teacher Elkin. It was my pleasure to be part of the same space with you and sharing this learning opportunity with you. And congratulations to your students, because you fully deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now I'd like to invite Teacher Aliger from Instituto Federal da Bahia in Brazil.
It's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations to the IFBA Camaçari. I'm very happy. I would like to say and congratulations to IFBA Camaçari, especially the 4-year students of the computer science course and the teachers, Rosângela, Larissa, Adilson. The students' idea A+ students. The students' name are Ana Carolina, Bruna, Maria Clara, Maria Clarissa, Maria Vitória, Sabrina, Vanessa. The classes belong to everyone due to collaborative work. I would to ask permission to speak to Portuguese because the students is here.
Absolutely.
O acesso à educação proporciona muitas possibilidades para diminuir as desigualdades sociais. Por isso que fizemos esse projeto, né? A ideia dos estudantes junto com o grupo de professores. Pois é o próprio processo social. Ser educador hoje é tão importante quanto os profissionais de saúde, pois estamos aprendendo e reaprendendo constantemente. Apesar de estarmos em um momento de isolamento social, o educador em tempo remoto deve estar mais próximo dos seus estudantes como nunca, se recusando a se isolar nas palavras e nos cálculos matemáticos, como o projeto do IFPA de Camaçari propõe, mas difundir cada vez mais esse conhecimento para diminuir as desigualdades, pois o educador não só transforma a informação em conhecimento e em consciência crítica, mas forma pessoas cidadãos globais, que corresponde à proposta do prêmio Sarah Taylor para Jovens Líderes 2021, que leva o nome do educador britânico e o empreendedor social. Ou seja, há um vínculo direto entre o processo educacional e as questões sociais. Toda história tem um fim, mas a do educador continua a cada dia, a cada momento. As pessoas se formam em diferentes áreas, mas todas passaram por um professor, um orientador e um educador. Plantamos o conhecimento em cada discente e nem sempre sentimos que vemos o fruto do nosso trabalho de forma completa, mas sempre há, pois o aprendizado é sempre transmitido em diferentes intensidades e novas sementes germinarão, não só com esse prêmio, mas dentro do próprio Instituto e de forma global, dentro desse papel do cidadão global. Agradeço a todos, novamente obrigada. Doy las gracias a todos, graças de nuevo. I thank everyone, thanks again. Nós estamos muito contentes e estamos muito felizes. We are very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aliger. Speaking in 3 languages, it's amazing. Aliger gave just a nice, beautiful speech in Portuguese about the importance of educators who should be seen also as health workers, as so important as health workers, and how their work is so fundamental for this world, and how this is connected to social issues. So congratulations again, Teacher Aliger. Finally, I would like to invite Teacher Yvonne on behalf of the Sign Language Awareness project team. Teacher Yvonne, are you there? Because I have heard that you are connected from different devices. I would like to know if we got the correct one. Hi, I can see you in the chat. I will ask my colleague Carol to invite that specific profile as a panelist so you can share some words. Let's just give a minute. I know that we're almost there because this is the last part of this event, and then we will close. So if you are still here, thank you so much for staying and celebrating with our fellow educators. I think that we got Teacher Yvonne. Yes. Hi, Yvonne, welcome.
Everyone, hello, how are you, Andres? Well, thank you so much. I feel so happy. Guys, congratulations. This victory is yours. I feel so proud, like privileged and really grateful to have the opportunity to work with all of you, because we were like 26 students. We worked together, and it has been like one of my richest experience ever. So thanks to AFS for this opportunity, for visualizing and showing up like our students' inspirational projects. But congratulations particularly to my 26 students, and specifically to Berito, Natis, Juan, Juan Niño. I mean, I feel so proud, and I feel with hope, because my labor as an educator is that, to serve as a guidance, to help others improve lives, and of course, like to change for better our community, our school. So guys, congratulations. I really, really feel proud, like the happiest teacher ever, for having this opportunity to work with you. And I hope that you continue developing this kind of projects, because we are in here for helping others and for building up a better world. So thanks to AFS, thanks to Colegio Cooperativo Reyes Patria. This is our victory. And those are our brilliant students. And thanks to all of you, the ones that participated as well. I think that everyone is a winner in here. So thank you very much, Andres.
Thank you, Yvonne, so much. You should celebrate now. It was an amazing victory, as you said, not only from this specific group of students, but from the whole classroom, your 26 students, because you guys helped each other with your class, Yvonne, Elkin, and Aliger. You should be proud of your students. Congratulations once again. And as I said, please celebrate because you deserve it. I would like to mention what the award is, right? What the prize is. So the Young Leader Award, the students from the 3 winning projects will receive the Young Leader Award certificate issued by AFS Intercultural Programs and the Sir Sarah Taylor Charitable Foundation for the outstanding project idea, recognizing their commitment to work towards the SDGs and for taking a step forward to develop their active global citizenship. They will also get the opportunity to engage into a virtual class exchange session to celebrate their achievement and connect with fellow active global citizens from other localities and around the world. And a digital AFS Effect Plus Young Leader Medal for championing active global citizenship in their schools and their communities. Of course, the teachers will also get an award for the winning project teams and the schools as well. For representing them and receiving certificates issued by AFS and the foundation for being young leaders educators and young leaders educational institutions. So with that said, thank you so much to all of you for being here. This was a great moment to celebrate. I'd like to thank all of you for being part of this event and celebrating the educators and students' achievements. As they said themselves, it is their achievement. So please, as a last thing, reach out to us if you'd like to stay in contact for more educational opportunities, whether it is the Effect Plus for the Classroom program or any other educational offer that AFS Intercultural Program has to offer. So thank you to Daniel, to Bill, to Luisa, to Shah, Yvonne, Elkin, and Aliger for being part of this. You can see all of our information on the screen. We share the link to the Educator Toolkit that will be launched in August. And finally, congratulations. Enjoy your evening. Thank you for being here.